Hey y'all, I finally saw The Woman in the Yard and I gotta say it was good. Now let's go ahead and get into this review, shall we? Yes, sir. You are now tuned in to a PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. We thank you for watching. Enjoy. And you are now tuned in to the Prince Onyx Network with your good guy here, Prince Onyx. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your good guy here, Prince Onyx, Onyx. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So yes, as I said before in my video for horror noir and the differences between that and within that when it comes to subgenres of horror, go ahead and check that out if you haven't. I finally saw The Woman in the Yard, and I gotta say, despite the mixed reviews, I liked it. Okay, like it, I'm gonna give it, out of 10, I'll give it a 7.8. I'll give it a 7.8, and the only reason for that is because towards the end it kind of got a little wonky a little bit for me. I was a little bit like, okay, what's happening? But then like it kind of came on back and fleshed itself out fully. Or I ain't gonna say fleshed itself out fully, but more so it was like, hey, this is a little bit of a trippy thing because this movie is definitely a psychological horror, a psychological thriller. There's mystery and suspense. You know what I'm saying? It's more a psychological thing. But also I noticed the spiritual elements as well, like the spirituality of it as well, and things dealing with manifestations and how, you know, how people say, be careful what you pray for, be careful what you wish for. And when you say things with intention, you got to be clear about it. You know, like I'm debating on if this should be like a spoiler, non-spoiler review, because I do want you guys to go check it out. I really want y'all to check it out. So it might end up being a mash of both. So I do apologize in advance, but you guys still should go see it. So they actually did, before we really get into it, they made this movie on a budget of 12 million. And as of now, the box office is at 21 million, which I believe is good. But I feel like if they crack 30 mil, that'll really help them to like break even. You know, it's weird how that works with the box office and stuff like that, but they definitely made back more than what was put out. And I gotta say, it's because of people who were promoting it on social media via TikTok and, you know, Facebook, Twitter, shit, MySpace, whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, YouTube. People definitely helped to push it and promote it, and it was really good. Everybody did the damn thing. Like, everybody really did their thing. Okay, so shout out to the cast, the crew, you know, again, Blumhouse, not Bloom, because I had to really, like I said in the last video, I had to look at another video and be like, okay, how did we say the production name of the guy who made it? Jason Blum. Jason Blum, you did your thing, okay? You did your thing once again. I'm telling you, he been knowing what he doing, okay? He been knowing what he been doing. But this is definitely a dope film because, again, it deals with these topics of manifestations, spirituality, and things like mental health, you know? So we have Ramona, who Danielle plays, Danielle Deadweiler. She plays Ramona Harris. She is disabled. Basically, she has like a knee injury from a car accident. And unfortunately, the car accident took out her husband, David. And so it's just her and the kids. You have the teenage son, Tyler, and you have the little girl, Annie. And they are they're at this house that also has like, it has a chicken farm. So they're basically out in the, not the wilderness, but it is kind of like remote almost. It's farmland. Now, granted, what I will say is we don't know exactly where this film takes place. Like, you know, one could think, okay, maybe they're in Georgia, but they could be somewhere up here in the Midwest or out there in the West Coast or even the East Coast, but they are somewhere, you know, where they are far removed from the city, but they still have neighbors. It's just those neighbors are very few, far and in between. Okay. So anyway, so you have her, she is basically still dealing with the grief. You know, she's dealing with the grief, the depression of losing her husband. And it's like, she really can't function. She really can't function. And her son, Tyler, he has to really step in because he is the oldest, you know what I'm saying, and look after everybody from himself, his mother, to his daughter, and all of that stuff, right? So, you know, everybody's just going through the motions, if you will. And then I would say maybe like 10 minutes into it, that's when the woman appears. Now, when I tell you this right here was some supernatural, this was some supernatural, baby. This was something. So she appears out of nowhere, right? And so I believe it was, if I can recall which one of the kids had noticed her. I want to say the daughter, Annie, had noticed her at first and was like, oh, mommy, there's some lady. No, Tyler, he noticed her because he was just outside and he was putting up the dog, Charlie, on his leash, you know, putting up the dog Charlie on his leash. And then he was like, hey, there's some lady outside in the yard. There's some woman in the yard, which it's always funny when they say the title of the movie. But anyway, there's a woman in the yard, and then they're trying to figure out, okay, well, what does she want? Is she okay? What's going on? And so they go out there. Well, she goes out there, as we see in the trailer. I was going to call her name, Danielle. Ramona goes out there to see like what she wants. And the lady is like, well, how did I get here? What's going on? You know, she's kind of like spaced out a little bit. So it seems. She's a little spaced out. Then she says, today's the day. And it's like, the hell you mean today's the day? Like, today's the day. And that's just when things went crazy. Like, things just went wild. Things went wild from there. It was like she had these supernatural abilities, basically. She was just like, you know, using shadow manipulation. And it was just, whew, when I tell you she didn't have to do much, to cause damage. Honey, she didn't have to do much to cause damage. But yeah, it's like basically you have Ramona, Tyler, and Annie trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to survive? How are we going to get through this? While also dealing with inner turmoil, because again, the mother, she is just dealing with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Again, David is gone. That was her husband. She's constantly playing this video on the phone of when they were talking about, you know, having this dream he had about, oh, the house is done, everything is good, we got to come up with a name with the farm, it has those beautiful flowers that you like. She likes irises, and also she's a painter as well. So it's like, you know, she's just in a constant cycle of the depression, the grief, the stages of grief. And the thing is, within that, this is where the spirituality and the manifestation coupled and factored in with the mental health come from. So yeah, like, it's like basically when she's getting up out of bed, she is like, she's asking, you know, give me the strength. Because again, she's handicapped. Her knee is messed up. She got the stitches. You know what I'm saying? So you would think, oh yeah, she's asking for God or an ancestor, a spirit guide, you know, her higher self, whomever. She's asking, hey, give me the strength to get out of bed. So you would think that that's what she's asking for. But later we find out, oh girl, no, you wasn't asking for the strength to go on and, you know, be able to let go and move past David's death. You were actually asking for the strength to do something else. Okay. And so, you know, she just goes through those motions, and she is, you know, the frustration with the kids, even though the kids are doing the best that they can, you know, especially Tyler, he's doing the best that he can, because he essentially, again, being the oldest child and being the boy, I want to say he is the man of the house, but not really. And neither does like Ramona or Annie make him feel like that or say that to him. But he takes on that responsibility of, hey, well, let me help out because mom has very limited mobility because she's on 2 crutches, which when she was on those crutches, I was just kind of like, now, ma'am, like, how is you going to run from this creature, this being? Like, how is you going to run when you was on these crutches? But when I tell you there's a will, there is a way. Okay. Anyway, y'all. So yeah, it's just like dealing with that. And so the grief, the depression, and the manifestation basically later, because I feel like I don't want to jump around too much because I'm just really excited, y'all. I just seen a movie, just got back. So I'm like really trying to like recall everything because, man, this movie, again, I still want y'all to go out and see it because it's really dope. And yeah, it's just like it deals with a lot because essentially the woman, she is an apparition, right? She is. But not just any ordinary, regular, degular, schmegular apparition. No. She is a manifestation of the grief and the depression. Like, again, that's why people got to be really mindful of what they do with it. Like, when you're feeling it and processing it and going through that, you have to just be mindful of what you are feeding into, in a sense. in the spirit realm, what you're feeding into, because basically today is the day. It was like, oh, come with me. Today is the day that you come with me so you can be reunited with David, right? And it's like, oh shit. So yeah, like I said, things went topsy-turvy. Things were crazy. Child, it was the lady. What was crazy was the lady kept getting closer and closer and closer to the house. In a chair, mind you. Kept getting closer and closer and closer. Which I feel like was showing that it's like the need to give in, the need to just throw in the towel, to surrender, was getting closer and closer with Ramona. She was having like these mental out of space moments, out of space, out of time, out of body moments that definitely had you just like, whoa, what in the hell is she thinking about? Like she, at one point she was like looking at her scar, at the stitches, her scar, she removed the bandage a little bit and she had like peeled off a little bit of skin, and then she had pulled out like what I thought was like a hair, or just like, pulled out something, but it turned out to be the stitch. But she kept pulling and pulling and pulling, and I'm like, girl, you finna undo the stitches. And it's just like she had to snap out of it. But yeah, it's just like she was stuck. She was really stuck. Like she was. I think this is gonna be kind of like a non-spoiler, because I'm really trying not to give too much of it away, y'all, because I want y'all to check it out. But she was stuck, and towards the end of the movie, man, it was good. It had a good ending. I'm not gonna lie to you that it had a good ending, because they kind of had. They had me for a loop. When I tell you the hat, not this one, because I had on another hat. When I did like this, baby, when you see it, you'll know why. Because I'm like, girl, not y'all finna do what I think y'all finna do. Whew, girl, it was a lot. Because the thing is, the grief and the depression, it was like she was the only one going through it, right? But what about the kids? Because they missed their dad, of course. So it's like, you're not the only one, but you are really only thinking about yourself, kind of. So even having to confront that, the selfishness that comes with depression and grief amongst the family, it was just really it was just really interesting. Again, this was more so psychological than it was like, The Purge or Pinhead or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween. It was more psychological, and those more psychological films are the ones where you may have to see it a second time, maybe, because I ain't gonna lie, like I said, the ending, though, I was like, okay, 2 thumbs up, it still left me a little bit not confused, but like, okay, because it almost explored like dream worlds, alternative universes, if you will, of what it's the psyche. You know what I'm saying? The things that manifest out of the psyche, and how you can also, if you're not careful, you get trapped and locked within your psyche. So it's like, it was good, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all. It was good. Like I said, I only give it a 7.8 just because I feel like, I'm gonna give it a 7.8 because I'm just like, damn, okay, this was interesting. I should give it a 7.8. I can't really tell you why right now. But it's a 7.8, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. Again, out of all the mixed reviews, I liked it. I know a lot of people, they didn't like it, but I feel like that's because they were dependent upon thinking, oh, this is going to be blood, guts, and mayhem. And it wasn't. It wasn't that. Again, psychological things, they tend to stray away from like the goriness, the over excessiveness of butchering somebody up. You know what I'm saying? Like they tend to like lean away from that, which is actually good, because again, you don't want to just be boxed in with all the others. But this was definitely pretty good. This was pretty good. I think they would do a sequel? I don't think so. No, it wasn't giving, by way of the ending, it wasn't giving sequel, because it just wasn't giving that. But it was pretty good. Like, I'm glad I got to see it. Again, it came out March 28th. Originally, it was supposed to come out January 10th, but then they had removed it from the release schedule, which I'm glad they did. So they pushed it to basically coming out during the springtime, which was good. So I got to see it, because these quick turnarounds with the theaters these days, girl. Okay. But what I will say is, again, this was a pretty good movie. The Woman in the Yard, when I tell you, when y'all go see this, let me know what y'all think. Again, I wanted to do like half spoiler, non-spoiler, but I'm like, nah, I really want y'all to go and watch it, just to see if you picked up on the things that I addressed in this review, as well as like, what else did you see? You know what I'm saying? Because again, grief, depression, and you couple that with spirituality, with manifestations, with speaking out and calling out for things, you got to be mindful of who and what could be listening, and be aware of where you are mentally and how your psyche is. Is it intact or is it not? Because again, with them being in this farmland area, it's like, hey, help is few far and in between, you know. But it also deals with resentment and remorse, survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt, and resentment for always putting others before yourself because you felt like this was the right thing to do, you know? And so, yeah, it dealt with so many themes. Like, that's the beauty of the genre of horror, that it's not just about meaningless unalivings. You know, gotta say that, right? But it's not about just like meaningless unalivings. And even when it comes to those horror films that do that, they're not necessarily meaningless in a way. It's a part of the rampage. It's a part of the story of the, you know, the serial killer. So, you know, it's like it serves a purpose. But with the psychological theme, when it does stuff like this was dope. This was definitely dope. And I think I'm gonna try to see if I can find interviews from the director and the writer to see like really what made them want to write this story, what made this story come to mind for them, because it was really unique. I can't say that I've ever seen anything like this before, you know. And of course, because it's an all black cast, you know, and they have shout out to that black producer, okay, Miss Stephanie, hey, I see you, okay, hey, y'all did the damn thing. And I just hope that the movie continues to get more and more money in the box office so you guys can break even, you know what I'm saying? Because again, a budget of 12 million and you got 21 million back, okay? We love to see it. And yeah, that's all I got for now. I really want y'all to check that movie out though. Like, check it out. Let me know what you guys think, and let's go ahead and discuss it. And if you have seen it already, put it down in the comment section. Let's get into it, okay? But anyway, this is your good guy here, Prince Onyx. I am signing out, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace. All right. Peace, y'all.
And thank you for tuning in with me, your good guy here, Prince Onyx. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been brought to you by PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. Thank you for tuning in with us.